some different. Back, I see. Yeah, we're about to do April's tutoring session in a second. In about 20 minutes, but just want to log on. I don't know, man. I'm trying. So the thing right now, with me at least, is I'm trying to build a ton of content because Night Style fan, welcome, man. Welcome. So I'm trying to build a lot of content right now that I plan on releasing on YouTube, and I also plan on releasing on as part of my course in a certain way or another. I'm not quite sure. I've been working out how I might release the content on YouTube and how I might do the same thing on the course. So I haven't fully figured it out. But here we are. Studying and doing it and all that sort of stuff. How's everybody doing today? Also, while I have you here, if there's any topics, I've been stockpiling topics to talk about. For those of you who watch my videos, I've been doing a lot of these sort of advice-oriented videos where I like to go in and talk about life experience and things like that. That I think will benefit you, but I always am curious what people would want me to talk about. So I've been stockpiling that. You're working on a course on networking and system admin? That's good, man. That's the thing, guys. As long as every day or every other day, for those of you people who are a little less motivated, you're working towards something, I think that will be exactly what you need to do. The problem is a lot of people don't work towards something. Like, I don't know about you, man, but like when I decided 2-3 years ago that I was going to work towards a certain goal, and I was going to kind of start taking my own advice, I don't know if I've ever been happier. And that's not to say it's easy. A lot of things aren't easy. But a lot of things are hard, but you really do need to work towards something on the daily. I think we're gonna have to change this to a string. Yeah, no big deal. What's every single day? Working every single day, Ugar? Oh, Ugar Armagon? Apologize if I butchered that, man. I'm trying my best here. I've made it to a new level. Dope. But that's the thing. Like, I talk about my goals and my dreams. Maybe I should do a video about that. Oh. Because I think a lot of people need to have them, and unfortunately a lot of people either don't know what they should be, or I don't know how to explain it. Paul Stanley, have a good one, man. You have a good night too. Uger, like Uber, but Ugar. Oh. Shit, a piece of my scab just hanging on right now, boys, on my finger. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. But as I was saying, so I haven't been releasing too many videos of those because we're moving in 10 days, and I have a whole new office set up and a green screen and all this sort of stuff. And I really want to take up the production quality a bit. Oh, man. Shit. Alright, stay on there. I gotta get a band-aid to cover this up before we continue on. Sorry about this, guys. Here's a question for you guys. I would like an answer for this because I don't know what the answer is. One of my goals, speaking of goals, is I am I'm always looking for ways to improve my channel. Unfortunately, I make so little money that I can't put a ton of production quality into it from YouTube. And so I just try to give personality, I guess. I try to give you me in its most raw and unfiltered way possible. But for me, I ramble and I reiterate. And so for some, that might be, if we were to talk about goals and dreams and stuff like that, for me, that's a 20-minute video. For others, it may be 5 minutes because they're going to say, hey, these are step 1, step 2, step 3. But I like to sort of paint the picture along the way of why that's my goal and dreams and how I hope to accomplish them, and not so cut and paste. What do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer that I kind of cut down the time and have these sort of shorter videos? I'm just curious. Anyhow, and children have got M pieces of candy. They want to eat as much as they can, but each child must eat exactly the same amount of candy as the other child. Okay. So the children. So that's child, that's candy. So 10 pieces, we eat 9. 2 pieces, we eat 2. Alright, so what we'll do here is we'll say var candy equals m divided by n, and then we'll go ahead and is it float? Not that round, I think is what I'm looking for. Because I personally think the number one way to... Because at the end of the day, what you really are trying to build is some sort of subscriber fan base. You're trying to build someone who wants to see you succeed and who, at the end of the day, wants that person to wants the YouTuber to not only put out the content that they're putting out, but also put it out in their own way. And for me, it's always painting a big picture. That's why when I talk about these things, so they're 20-minute videos, 10-minute videos, because I think the most disservice a lot of people get, and sometimes you can give people good advice or bad advice and they just won't take it. But I think the biggest disservice is giving advice and not explaining it. So what was I doing here? The game plan was to divide this, then round it, and then times it. I think that was what I was trying to do here. So 10 children, 5 candies. Oh, I think I got this backwards. No. So 5 candies. Anything under 15 minutes should be good. That's the thing, man. I always kind of envision these sort of... Like, that's why the interviews are like an hour long. Because I envision them more as podcasts. And these being short little 20-minute podcasts about whatever. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, I didn't mean to do math.round. I meant to do math.floor. There we go. Got a chance to work in the training site? Training site of what? Got a chance to work in the training site. I'm still for the course. I'm a little bit confused what you're asking, Jordan. So let's see here. And calls in rows, call row. So, your friend advised you to see new performance in the most popular theater in the city. He knows a lot about blah, blah, blah. The main problem is your shyness. You're afraid you'll end up blocking the view, even if only for a couple of seconds. All the people sit behind you and in your column. To gain courage, you decide to calculate the number of each people and see if you can possibly make it to the exit without disturbing too many people. Given the total rows and columns in the theater, and the row and column you're sitting in, return the number of people who sit strictly behind you and in your column to the left. Four columns. the fuck is this asking? Alright, so half the problem with these algorithms is sometimes it's like, what are you asking? Just tell me. Explain to me what is going on here. Alright, so we have the number of columns and number of rows. Alright. And we're in row 5. Three, okay. And we're saying how many people are behind us. Alright, I think we have to look at the calculator. I'm starting to put this together. I just gotta figure out. Forget the pseudocode for a second. I have to see if I understand by just doing some simple math. So, 11. So we gotta do something with 11 here. And so we're in row, actually we'll start with the row. So here we have, we're in row 3. We're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Column 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Now we're saying so there's a difference of 8 times a difference of 11. But in reality, you're probably counting your other row. So what's that, plus 8? Okay, I see how they got to 96. Waffle Strings, how's it going? So, okay, I kind of understand what they're asking now. So, Ugar Armagon, do you recommend live streaming coding sessions, kind of like you're doing? Does this help you brighten up, since coding can be such a lonely experience? I don't know, man. I only did it after I started working as a developer, and it's because I'm really pushing myself, and I code pretty much every day at work, and I code pretty much every day after work, and every day on the weekends, and I don't know, man. It's like, let me put it this way, am I doing better code because you guys are here? Probably not. But am I coding because you're here? Yes. So if it gets you to code more, do it. That would be my response for that. How don't I get burnt out? There's been times where I get burnt out. Meetups are great as well, Ugar. And they're better for networking, I would say, than anything else. How don't I get burnt out? I'm very aware when I do get burnt out, or I'm getting burnt out, and I have to pace myself. I don't know, man. Let me put it this way. I'm more worried about being homeless than I am getting burnt out. So it's just like, if you look at it like that, you just power through it. Did I get a chance to work on the training course site? The coders course? Yeah. So this is part of it right now. Like, you guys see me work on this sort of stuff. I'm going to be doing these algorithms to promote it and whatnot, but I'm not recording any of the like introductory sections of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, jQuery, Angular, all that sort of stuff, and the projects for that yet until I move, because I have the green. When I move, I'll have a slightly bigger office, and on top of it, what I'll be doing is I'll set the green screen up. It's not even gonna be a green screen. I ordered some special paint. Gonna paint the wall green. I got some desk attachments so I can get 4 monitors on here. I have some other things as well, power strip connectors and cord. So I'm setting up my whole office, and I got 3 new lights for the lights. And we're also gonna get a 4K webcam for it. So I'm kind of waiting until I can have because if I'm making the course, it's going to be in 4K. I got the 4K monitors now, but I want the green screen. And when I tried to set up the actual screen instead of the wall, it wasn't coming out as great as I wanted it to. So what we're doing right now is kind of like a lot of prep work. In the last week, I've solved 15, 16 algorithms, and we're continuing on that trend. I'm debating how I want to do this. Here's the thing, guys, is I'm trying to decide how to teach people to get better at algorithms, and I think the only thing you can do really is you can tell them a couple things, like, you look back there, we got whiteboards and stuff like that. You draw it out, visualize it, look up documentation. But I think the best thing that you could do is really have somebody sit you down, explain to you the problem, see them draw it out, and then fully understand the solution as it's typed out. And so I'll be using and the reason I'm using sites like Code Fights is, one, because when you do, if I were to create a problem, an algorithm myself, I think it would take a lot more time, but also because there's so many crazy use cases in here, I think it'll be much more convincing instead of just hard coding things. And so it makes it a little bit harder. It's easier for you to follow along. You can go on here. And so there's going to be things like that in here. And how I'm going to use Code Fights into that, I don't know yet. I'm playing with this idea of doing every other on here, or maybe doing the first section or 2 on YouTube, but that's only one part of the course, so I may just release all of it and just use it as promotional material for my course. But we'll see. But right now it's just prep work. There's a lot of prep work going in, creating resources. Digital whiteboard, yeah, so there's pins you can get where you essentially can see it on your screen. You're drawing out notes and things, and like a digital whiteboard. And that's going to be something that I'll be using for the course as well. Anyhow, writing pseudocode and stuff like that. Okay, so I think I understood what was being asked here. So first we have to find out, do you think it's better than Code Wars? So the reason, let's go to Code Wars real quick. The reason that I decided to stick with Code Fights is pretty straightforward. I think there's so much going on with. I think there's a little bit too much going on with Code Wars. I don't really like the layout, for one. I think it's kind of overly complex. Second, there's so many of these things that I think what will happen, is that it may be hard. Like, if I'm going to put something out onto YouTube, for instance, I need there to be a clear path so that, like, Free Code Camp's great. You have the path, you have the videos, each section. Code Wars doesn't really feel like that. But here you see you have a couple. And so I'll have the arcade path, and like I've been working on intro, and now I'm doing core just because arcade's starting to get hard, so I'm just kind of switching it up. Because I've been doing this for a week, getting a little burnt out, to be honest with you. But you gotta keep going. What program do you use to make streaming video layout like this? I use a combination of OBS and Restream. Restream for the chat. And to stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, all that sort of stuff. So anyhow, what were we doing here? So let's say var call diff equals n calls minus call. And then we'll say var row diff equals n rows minus row. And then we'll say return call diff. I think I have to I think what I have to do here is add 1, because that's what I did to get my 96. So here we have 88. So doesn't matter which one we add 1 to, I guess. Yes, it does. Maybe it's column. There we go. Cool. Here's a question for you guys. I asked a friend of mine how much money she's making as a developer, and she didn't feel comfortable telling me. Is that strange? Am I strange for asking? Is that strange that she doesn't feel comfortable for me telling me? Potato chips, what's going on? Four plus 4 equals 8? All day, baby. All day. But this, so I get what you're saying, Ryan, but as someone who helped tutor her for that role, and as somebody who is in the same industry, so to ask a professional, say, hey, in case I were to ever go back down to Los Angeles, what does an Angular developer get paid? And also, I think it's better to talk about these things openly. But I got all the sample tests on make consecutive array 2 challenge, but I could only get 3 out of 5 of the hidden tests. I don't know. Come on in, baby. Are you ready? Well, you got a blanket on.
Because I don't want to be on camera today.
We can take the camera down. You want to take the camera down?
What do you mean take it down?
I can take it down. I can't take this one down.
Which one?
This one.
They can't see us.
Well, they can see us here. I'm just saying on the screen. I can take it down.
So what? I don't think that I were on.
No. Like the webcam isn't on the page, you see?
Oh, okay.
So like, see if I were to add it back.
I see.
All right, so 30 minutes. So we got an hour to go. Okay, cool. So, do you think it was, here's a question for you before we get started here. Remember how I was not tutoring, but I was giving a rundown to my friend in LA over Angular the other night when we came back from the hackathon? She got the job. And I said, nice, congrats. What are you getting paid? Is that a weird question to ask? Because, like, to me, I wanted to know, say, all right, cool, what's an AngularJS developer going for in LA? And, like, what are you getting paid? So I can just have a reference. I'm always curious what people are getting paid.
Is that what you said to her?
After she said, she said back to me, she said something like, I don't really want to tell you, question mark? Something like that. What she didn't want to say.
I think that maybe there's a few social markers to that. One, she could have been in an environment where talking about your money is unacceptable. Like where I come from, my family, you don't talk about money. You don't bring it up. Nothing. Like you don't even touch the stuff. So that could be it. Or two, if I had asked, it could have been in a different circumstance because I am in her shoes. Or if a guy asked me how much I'd make, I'd be like,
but it's not.
why?
It's not someone random. I literally spent an hour.
That's kind of true because, like, let's say if one of my guy friends asked me, "Oh, how much you making?" I'd be like, I don't know, like 24
like
an hour.
if you asked me, hey Dylan, can you help me prepare for this AngularJS interview? And then you say, you text someone, you say, I got the job.
Yeah,
or
it could be what World is saying. Like 3, it's not so much any of those factors other than that person is just being completely weird about it. So I mean, it could be a number of factors, and if you wanted to know the truth, you would just have to ask her. You'd just be like, hey, is that a personal thing or?
I don't care. I just want to know if that's because I very openly talk about money, and
I know, and it's so fucking weird for me.
But I think it's very empowering. I think a lot of people have issues with money.
I think it is. I also agree because
and I think the problem is
it's helped me a lot with hearing you talk about money so much and talk about like our past and how much we were making. It's embarrassing. Like hearing it's embarrassing. But at the same time, I'm telling myself, but it's okay because it's just money, and that shouldn't be a secret, and I shouldn't feel ashamed of myself for that. Or even if I was making like $150,000 and you talked about that, I would still feel that inch of shame. Like you just don't talk about it, period. But I mean, that's just from my past. So I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I absolutely agree. So I don't think that it should be something that people are afraid to talk about. I think it should be something that we talk about more because money is definitely an issue in our society currently.
Yeah. I don't know. I always, it's the first thing I talk about with recruiters. They ask that,
it is actually now the first thing I talk about when I'm in interviewing. Like, I make it a point for it to be either my first, second, or third question, just because you have really instilled in me and inspired me to be able to talk about those things. But prior to you, I would never talk about it. I would just accept whatever it was that they would give me, and I would accept that. And if I wanted a raise, I would strive to show them that I deserved a raise, but never ask for a raise.
Yeah, but it's exactly as World Z is saying. People having issues with money hurts everybody, and it hurts you specifically, because your boss isn't going to give you a $10,000 raise just because you work harder most of the time. You're going to have to go and you're going to have to ask and explain, and you need to feel comfortable talking about money, which is why recruiters, they ask me, say, what is your salary expectation? It's $10,000 more than I'm making now. This is why. Plus. Anyhow, so that's off topic. Sort of. It's important because you're gonna be up in that grind. So for some reason we're dropping frames. Our internet seems to be shit. I hope our internet's better at where we're going.
You could just tell her hey, what?
Well, I'm not telling her anything. I told her. I'll text her back. I don't know. I said, hey, I was just curious what you're making.
Yeah, but you should just say my girlfriend's going into that category, and I would really want to give her a respectable, area to shoot for, or not even that. But the thing is like, it's important. I think it is important to know how much she's making, because even she could be, you know, you could tell her and be like, hey, well, you know, you're doing that, you should strive for this much, or, you know.
So before we get started, I'll ask Droggins Mantic says, hey Dylan, which JavaScript design patterns do you use? So with the development that I use at work, we don't really worry about design too much. The reason for it is we are building software for government agencies, so they have to be IE9 compatible, which eliminates a lot of stuff. It eliminates ES6, it eliminates a lot of CS3, and so in terms of design, we literally are just using Bootstrap, and it's very cut and dry. It's not the prettiest thing because it can't be the prettiest thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's get started. So what did you do today?
I can tell you that I am an expert in writing alerts.
Yeah?
And I have brushed up on my variable skills.
Okay, so what does an alert do?
An alert it can either like bring up a pop box where you have like where you've written in the parentheses what you wanted to say, or you can call a variable and have it print out the string or whatever the value is.
Good. Let's do a quick verbal review. And so variables. How would we create a variable?
Hold on a second. Hey, Livy, I totally agree. Being around my boyfriend has helped me to be much more direct with communication than how I used to be. And I didn't really know that I was like that till I hung around Dylan. He's like, why are you like that? And it's like, wow, I cannot believe how different I am in my communication without even realizing it. So I agree. It does throw people off. And I get reactions both from men and women like, whoa, like, you are very direct, and I like that. And it's crazy that people like that, but we're not raised like that. So, anyways, I thought that was good to say. What were you saying?
Create a variable.
Create a variable. Var, my pet, camel case, equals cat, in parentheses, in quotes, and you would end that with a semicolon.
John Deegs, going to start a 100-day challenge now that I finished my degree. It's crazy how much more I enjoyed coding when out of a college environment. I'm with you, man. I hated college. I think about it going back all the time, but also at the same time not wanting to spend the money. I remember how miserable I was throughout all of it. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed software development and web development and all that much more once I was out. So I encourage you to start your side project, a big side project, with the goal of making money with it. So anyhow, okay, so let's continue on with our algorithm scripting. This time we're actually going to swap seats.
This time, baby, I'll be
Okay, so you're gonna take the keyboard. I'm gonna stand up, and you are going to. I'll any questions you have, feel free to.
You're gonna stand up. You're not gonna sit right here.
I'll go crazy if I just sit. So I'm gonna be right here.
Wait, I want that chair.
Yeah, you want the good chair? All right. All right. So I'm gonna hang up these like that. So what we're going to do is start with we've done the first 3 algorithms. You're going to see if you can resolve them.
Okay.
On your own.
Okay. Okay. This time, baby, I'll be
Try to narrate your thought process if you can, because it will help you retain it and help people who are watching understand as well. And if you have a thought process that's incorrect, I will correct you.
Okay. That's gonna be difficult. Okay.
Well, after you write a line of code, explain why you wrote that line of code.
Okay, I can do that. Fahrenheit is equal to Celsius times 9 divided by 5 plus 32. Okay. Let's see. Celsius, Fahrenheit, return Fahrenheit, convert to. Okay. That should be right.
Okay, now explain what you did and why.
Oops. Okay, so for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius, it says that your function is convert to and your parameter is Celsius. So inside of your block, your function block, you have your variable Fahrenheit that they've already put in there for you. And you have to say that this Fahrenheit is equal to the argument of the convert to 30 degrees Celsius. In order for that to be run correctly, or to be Fahrenheit's like degree or answer, it would have to be the Celsius plus the, what is that called? Math that would go along with changing the parameter or argument, the argument, not or, the argument, to the correct Fahrenheit degree.
Okay, that is a very long worded answer. It seems like you know what you're talking about. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Close your eyes real quick, because I think I have to reset it.
Okay.
Was it not fucking cheap?
What is it? Don't get your dirty hands on my face.
So let's continue on with this next algorithm.
Okay. I don't know why I did that. Okay, reverse the provided string. Oh, this one. You may need to turn the string into an array before you can reverse it. Ugh. I hate this one. Your result must be a string. Remember to use if you get stuck. Okay. Ay. Man, I hate this one. Return string. Okay. So I think that, no, hold on. Okay, let's see. If I create a variable, noon typing, what's that? Thanks. I hope I can do this.
You've done it before.
I know. I feel so off today. Okay. Erg. Why do I want to write var? Why do I want to give a variable to this? Variable. If I give a variable, I already have an argument, a string. I need to write this string backwards, so I need it to be an array. Oh. Maybe that's why I need to make a variable. Okay. Is it still? No, that's not right. Let's see. We'll just go with this. Oops. Hello.
Baby, remember, you can't hard code this.
Oh, right. String. Okay, so now that I have an array, how do I get in?
Don't forget, you gotta close your variable.
Okay.
So what are you trying to do here?
Well, I am now trying to access my array backwards. So I have to access my array backwards. So I can do a for loop.
Okay.
So I gotta write the iterator.
So I'm gonna stop you, because what you're doing right now doesn't make much sense with putting your string into an array. Why are you putting in your string into an array?
Because it says I can.
You need to turn the string into an array, not add the string to an array.
Oh.
Do you remember how to do that?
No.
Okay. So you need to go documentation hunting. So you need to type in how to turn a string into an array JavaScript. You need to find an example and look through the documentation.
What's noon typing?
I think they meant no one typing, question mark.
Okay, let's see. Var string. How are you, var? What are you doing today? That doesn't make any sense. Let's see. String dot split. No. That really doesn't make any sense.
So I would advise you to follow W3 schools most of the time when you're getting started.
Yeah, but it's not doing what I asked it. What I'm talking about.
Well, look at it.
No, I don't want to.
You should look at it. Alright, now scroll down, see if there's an example. Try it for yourself. Click the try it for yourself. Alright, now this is click try it. Click the button display the array value. You see the code off to the side? See how it's using the split function?
We've never used the split function.
We have used the split function. We've used it on this one.
What?
Yep.
We have not said dot split.
120%.
Nope. No.
You know, I have all this on video, right?
No way. I don't believe this.
What are you doing? What are you doing, baby?
What?
You just hit like Control Z and you're in the wrong thing now. Alright, here. Go to the map and select reverse string. Nope. Alright, you're almost there. Reverse a string. Clear your cache. Refresh page. Alright, let's see something. No, I'm gonna do. No. What'd you do? Jesus. So, rewrite this function. Do the setup again. Read it by hand.
Why did you delete all of it?
Because that was for something else. You're randomly hitting Control Z somehow messed with the page. But before you even do that, you need to understand the split function. Actually, yeah, click reset. That's a better idea.
I don't even.
So you're doing what you're doing right now. It's the number one thing that happens for people who don't understand how to do research. You're looking for something and you're not even reading what it does. Like, you did not even read. We Googled how to turn a string into an array. The number one result. You didn't spend 30 seconds looking at what it even says it does.
I don't think 30 seconds.
So what does it do? Did you read it?
Well, I didn't understand what I read.
You didn't read shit.
I did read it.
So what's it say?
The split method is used to split a string into an array of substrings and returns the new array.
So what does that mean?
It splits my string.
Okay. So when we go to test it out now, so our string is what?
How are you doing today?
And we click try it to see the result. You see it returns as a comma with all of it broken up. And we're splitting it by certain values right here. In this case, it's a space.
I want to see the video because I do not remember using split. Dot split. Okay. No fucking way.
Okay, maybe we did something else, but I'm pretty sure we just split.
We did not.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. But what you
need...
You
telling me we did, and me trying to recall kind of fucks me up.
All right, listen to what I am saying right now.
Okay.
You need to read the page, and you need to ask the right questions. So if you don't know how to... They tell you in here. They literally tell you in here. So you need to turn the string into an array before you can reverse it. We found a page that tells us exactly how to do this, and you have to go through the documentation and find it.
Yeah, I know how to do research.
All right. Well, what's up, buddy? What's up? Yeah, your mom is not working too hard to do the research? Is that what you're saying?
You better watch yourself.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, you. Hey, you. Alright, so your goal tomorrow is not to actually do your book. What I want you to do is watch Derek Spana's 1.5 hour video on JavaScript.
I'm on a mission to jump in the video. Yes, and then send it to me. I don't know who that is. Can you send me the video?
Yes, I'll send you the video, and that'll be your homework for tomorrow. All you gotta do is watch it and absorb it.
Ooh. Thank you for that note, John.
I'm just gonna let her find it through the documentation, but all right. Get a little help from chat.
Okay, you may need to turn the string into an array before you can reverse it. Your result must be a string. Remember to use. If you get stuck, then write your own code. Well, since I feel like we haven't used .string split, how am I supposed to get into this not so-called array but array?
Well, you don't have to do it as an array. What you can do is do you know that you can target a single character of a string?
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do originally.
Okay, well, you can do that by if you were to say str0, what would it str bracket 0, what would it
this one, H.
Okay, so knowing that we can target individual indexes and we want to do that, how might we do, and we run our code again and again with for loops, how might we go ahead, so figure out a way of doing that with, if you don't want to use the split, go ahead and delete it, comment it out.
Well, okay. I would like to know how to use a split, if that's conventional. String bracket 0.
It's connected to it. But what are you doing right now?
I was entering into the string.
To do what? And it looks like you're hard coding something right now.
No, I am most definitely not doing that.
So remember, it's not just hello we're trying to solve. We're trying to solve it. We want to reverse all words.
Oh, so we need a for loop.
Oh yeah? What are you doing, you crazy cat? Daddy missed you what? Daddy missed you what?
I think I'm wrong. I think I'm doing this wrong. Da-na-na. Do-do-do-do. That's wrong because nope. For I. And if I is less than string, I plus that will put it into a string. Will it? Okay. Let's see. That's not right. Goes into that. Okay, so I need somewhere to store this motherfucker. So it's gotta be in the function. So let's say var. Damn it. I forget if I need to put a number here or not. We'll find out.
I'm so confused. Yes, you. I don't fully understand how you keep on forgetting how a for loop is set up.
Because I haven't worked with them that long.
Okay. Alright, that's fine. So, what are
Try
you...
not to sound so disappointed.
What is the value of I right now?
There's no value to I right now.
So it's undefined. How is undefined going to help us?
It's not, because you know what? I'm still thinking through this.
Okay.
Jesus. On day 25, you guys do the algorithm that you don't use the string.split method.
So the next part is a statement, right?
Yeah.
So I is less than, in this case, hello.
Yes.
I is less, 0 is less than hello is what we're going with?
Well, when you say it like that, I feel like no.
Well, that's...
Because if it starts at 0, or I...
Well, remember, our for loop, all we want to do is put a statement that says how many times it's run. So how many times does our for loop need to run?
Less than the string. Or the string...
Equal to the string, right?
Equal to the string.
No. 0 is less than hello. Does that sound right?
Ri equals 0, which is less than my string.
Remember, the string is hello. What is it that we want to... Do we want to say I is less than hello?
I thought we did.
I is less than hello. What is less than addition? Would we be able to subtract if we had 0 and we minus hello? Does that make sense? In the world of mathematics.
Probably not.
No, not probably not. It doesn't make sense. So when we say one number is less than a string, that doesn't make sense either.
That length.
No, that's not right. You start at...
Oh, I see. That's right. I'm figuring this out, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Criticizing me every step that I forget.
No one's criticizing you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to hammer it in.
You're not hammering anything in. You're not letting me brain think about it. You're not letting my brain get to the point where it gets to say, oh, I'm wrong, I'm missing something. I'm still thinking through this. I may be thinking different from you. My logic may be backwards, but I can end up at the same damn thing.
Okay.
How many ways can you code this, Dylan? How many ways can you solve an algorithm, Dylan? Many different ways is the answer.
I fucking hate you. You're a pain in my ass.
Jesus. He's my senpai. Okay.
So what was the goal for your for loop? You have it set up properly, but why did you set it up?
Because I'm going to enter into the string, and I need to know how many things are in the string. So my code says, okay, while my string.length is whatever my argument is. I know, Crow. I get defensive, and I have to remember that I do that, so I need to calm myself down. Okay. So I'm saying in my string, whatever my dot length is of my string, I will run. So then my for loop will know how many times it needs to run, and then I have a variable up here to store my string, so that inside my block here where I write my code, I will go into the string of its dot length and I will write it backwards.
Okay. Sounds like a solid plan. So how are you gonna get all the values and put it in your string to be reversed?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure that out right now. Let's see. Right now I'm going in, it's coming in.
So how do we, I guess.
So hold on. I'm not thinking as fast as you want me to. I get it. but please.
Okay, baby.
Just give me a second.
Okay.
Equals so that it'll add to it. I set I what am I adding? I'm adding backward string plus I, or is it string dot length? Let's see. Backward string. What am I trying to access in my backward string to add to my variable? I feel like it's my string. No. Okay, variable I equals 0. Okay. Because we're starting at 0. That's a thing. Do I want to start at 0? How am I supposed to go into
Make us some dinner. You let me know if you.
I need help.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, when I know that I need to store things into my string, but I cannot remember if it is string dot length that I am taking it from, or is it the variable I?
String dot length, all it's doing is returning the length of the string.
Okay.
So you want to add it. It looks like you want to add to the backward string. Now, what are we trying to get? How do we access a single character from a string?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We can access it just like we would an array index.
Yeah, okay. That helped. Okay. I don't feel like this is gonna get it backwards, though.
It's not. It's going to actually... What you have set up right now...
It's just gonna call hello.
Yeah.
It's gonna return hello.
And you may need to actually set your backward string from undefined to something else. What do you think you would set it to?
Just a regular string. So, just that.
Good. Now, it's up to you to figure out how one might take your setup, either change your for loop or change what's in your for loop to reverse the string.
That's what it is.
Hey, Achilles. Okay?
Okay.
So remember, there's plenty of ways to
This one.
to write a for loop. You can go forward or backwards, and a bunch of other things.
Var I equals -1. That does not look right. I got an infinite loop going on. Oh, that's nice. Mr. Coding God should code some bots to compliment April during her tasks. I have an infinite loop in here. So
Okay,
I almost crashed
so-
your browser.
So look at your logic.
Yeah, I'm missing something right here.
So I is equal to 0.
Yeah.
So 0 is less than the length of the string. Is that true?
Yeah.
Minus 1. So what's that? The strength dot length minus 1 is what?
It's...
In the hello case. It's 4, right?
Yeah.
And then every iteration we subtract 1 from the loop, right?
Yeah.
So then negative 1 is the next iteration for I. Is negative 1 less than 4?
Yeah.
Next iteration, negative 2. Is negative 2 less than 4?
Well, I don't really understand what you're saying to me right now.
I'm trying to explain to you why you have an infinite loop. Because your statement...
Oh. Okay.
There's something wrong with your for loop setup. Okay.
But I need to change this. And I don't know what I need to change it to.
Let's start thinking about what each numbers are and what they're supposed to do. So, what's the game plan here? It's to get to create a reverse string, right? So how do we target the end value? The O. How do we target the O? It's the last value, right?
Yeah.
And then we want that to be in our reverse string the first value.
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
Yeah.
So look at our I is equal to 0.
Yeah.
We're saying 0 is greater than string dot length minus 1 subtract 1. Now, is 0 ever greater than string dot length minus 1?
Yes.
No.
No.
Because the length of our string minus 1 is 4. Is 0 ever greater than 4?
No.
So our for loop, instead of running an infinite loop, just never runs. So...
Okay. So, God, what does I need to be then?
Well, if we want to start off by the last letter, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
We want to get the last letter. How are we going to start I?
Don't be acting like you don't know what I'm trying to do.
I can't tell you what to do. So, in this case, if we wanted to access the 0, how would we get it? Remember, we're getting it in here by passing in I.
Wouldn't it need to be string dot length? No, maybe I'm putting that in the wrong spot. What are you burning?
The brain tank took a nap.
Burning something.
Oh shit, I'm burning.
Oh, he's burning something. Yay! Oh my god, you might want to turn the fan on. It's really smoky. Let's see. For var I equals... I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to get my brain to work. Okay, so var I needs to get to my last letter. How do I get that? How do I get that? How would I even name that? I is greater than... I don't know, understand this middle part here. Okay, I is greater than string dot length minus 1.
So we want to start by putting in the very last character.
Right. So how do I get that? How would I call that?
Well, how do you get the length of a string?
Dot length.
All right, and length is always one more than an index value, right? Than the index values, because we start at 0. So, what would we set our I to, knowing that?
I dot length.
I dot length? No,
No,
right?
it would just be dot length. No. No. Can you say that again?
So, to access the last value of hello, that O would be 4. That would be str bracket 4.
But I'm not trying to hard code it.
Correct. Now, how do we get the entire length of a string?
String dot length.
Okay. Which is what? What's the length of the string?
4.
No?
5. It's 5.
Okay. Now, how do we get the last index? We know how to get the length of the string. What's the last index value of the string?
5.
No. There's 5 values, but we start on the 0 index. So how do we get the last index? How do we go from 5 to 4?
Minus 1.
Yeah. So knowing that, what would we, if we want to start off make our first value the last value? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't.
No. Really?
That's the last value, isn't it? When we target, what's the length of the string? Let's just do the math. Length of the string is 5. We minus 1, that's 4. And then we take string, bracket 4, and what is that?
0.
All right, and when we say that's our first iteration, what is our first? It's 0. And then so on and so forth.
Okay.
All right, so look at your for loop. Does it make sense? So remember, I starts off at 4. Is 4 ever greater than 4?
It's the same. No. You might be right, John. But I learned how to use backward for loops, and it just seems like the most...
We're going to let her try and solve the algorithms however she wants. It's more...
I would like to know how to use the string dot split, though.
Yes. Milo, stop eating.
Why is he trying to eat that?
What are you doing, you crazy cat? Fat cat.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, I'm missing a letter.
You're missing everything.
Yeah. It's not going backwards.
Because your loop doesn't work. So, what's the value of I when we start? What's the value of I when we start?
-4.
It's not -4.
It's 4.
Okay, now is 4 ever greater than 4?
No.
Okay, so, and we want to decrement backwards, so how would we fix our statement to be true? Okay.
Okay, that's not it.
So 4 would be greater than or equal, but that would only run once, right? Because then would 3 ever be greater than or equal to 4? So figure out how you can fix your statement.
This is all I got.
All right, it's time to pull out the whiteboard. I know you don't want to be on camera, but you gotta understand basic math right now.
I understand basic math. I don't understand basic math in this form.
I know, so we're gonna draw it out. We're gonna draw out each iteration. You can stand off to the camera side of the camera if you want to see. You're clearly struggling with seeing what values are getting passed in where. Milo, get out of the way, buddy. Alright, so here we go.
Let's see.
So we have a for loop. I'm not going to put what's in it.
Okay, John. Thanks, Mark.
We know that you have something here and here. We don't know what goes here yet. Okay. We have var I starts off at the length of the string minus 1, right? str.length minus 1. So each iteration we want to go downwards. Let's make the assumption that it runs for the whole point of the string and of the word hello. First iteration, it gets the O, which would be 4. So index 4 is equal to 0. Index 3 is equal to L. Index 2 is equal to L. Index 1 is equal to E. Index 0 is equal to H. And then somehow our statement kicks it off and then ends it. So we know that we need an I right here. And we have to have a greater than, less than, some sort of symbol for the statement to be true to make sense for the iterations to run.
Okay, so if I is greater than string.length
This is our I value.
minus 1.
Each one of these is our I. You already got that right in here. This is all right. Now, we need to create a statement that somehow iterates to 0. When I is 0, it ends, and when I is 4, it starts, and it runs for all of them. So what is I when we start?
0.
No. What is I?
It's 4.
Good. So we need to go from the start of the string, which in this case is 4, to the end of the string, in this case is 0. How do we do that? What is a statement that makes that make sense?
While I is greater than string.length.
I is string.length minus 1. What is string.length? 4, right? 5.
5.
So it's never going to run. And think of where we need to get. We start here. We're starting at 4, and we have to go down to 0. If we're seeing if I is greater than 5, how do we ever get to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0? We don't, right? Just remember, we're going downwards with I minus minus.
I is going down. So it's starting at 4. So minus 1, so it's going down to 3. This minus 1, so it's going into, so while I is greater than okay, so I is 4, which is 0. How do I get it to go down? So while I is 4 and my string dot length is
Always 5. String.length is always 5.
5.
So each one of these I iterations is going from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0.
That's not what I'm having trouble with. I'm having trouble with understanding how I need to set.
Remember, you're each one of these is going down with I minus minus. So it has to be true for 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. I don't know what that looks like.
Basic math. What is I when we start?
4,
Good. I minus minus.
3,
I minus minus.
2,
I minus minus.
1,
I minus minus.
0.
We're done.
But it doesn't stop.
It will with your statement.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to come up with.
So
While I is greater than 0.
does that work? Let's check. What's the value of I first iteration?
4.
Bam. Check.
Greater or equal to 0. So it'll run 0.
What's the value of
Did we get it?
3?
Oh, we got it.
You got it, baby. Alright, good. Alright, now go ahead and test your code out. Make sure you're right. Let me put this back. Alright, go ahead and test your code. Oops.
Oops. Thank you, honey. God, it took me forever to get there. Greater or equal to 0. I know. I just don't know if 25 days is like a legit place to be at. 27 days.
So why is it wrong?
While I is greater or equal to 0.
What are you actually returning? Are you returning backward string?
Yeah. No.
Good one. Alright, good job. Now, I'm going to show you, before we wrap up, let me switch you seats. I'm going to show you some string functions and array functions that you could solve this. Alright. So, I forgot that we were supposed to do this, but I just wanted to go over some array functions with you. So string.split var array, we'll call it my array, is equal to str.split. And so what we're splitting it on, this takes in a parameter. This is a string function. It turns a string into an array. If you do it like that, it breaks it up into words, right? It splits it where this is true. So if it's broken up into words, there's spaces, right? If we want individual characters, there'd be no space, right? That means everyone. Milo, good damn it. I'm gonna fucking murder him. Daddy's sick of your shit, man! Alright, guys.
You are gonna get the wrong idea.
Anyhow, so I was seeming a little more aggressive than anything else. That's just been building up for about 27 days of him fucking knocking over my webcam. Okay, so so we have string.split.
Sorry.
Alright, so we're splitting this up into a character. So in the example of hello, what my array is actually equal to an array with the words H, or the characters E, L.
That's what it's printing out?
No, it's not printing anything out. That's the value of my array. This is what's in my array right now.
Okay, so with no space between your quotes.
Yes.
There's a difference there between a space and no space.
Yes, so if we had a space, and let's say it was hello world, what would actually be in my array? My array in that case would be equal to, my array would be equal to hello world. So you're basically setting up what the case is where you're splitting the string up.
Oh, so if there's no space, then it separates each individual thing.
Yes, it's splitting it on the character level. And if we put a comma like that, it split it up on a comma.
Oh, that's cool to know.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
So we're saying how to split up our string. So in this case, we're splitting our string into an array.
Okay.
Now, there's a function called reverse in here. Let me show you. Array reverse JavaScript. So the reverse method in JavaScript. Let me see. We'll do it in W3 School so you can actually see. What the reverse method does is an array function that reverses the order of things. So take this example here. We have banana, orange, apple, and mango. Once we call reverse on it, it's mango, apple, orange, banana. Everything's been reversed. All the values have been reversed.
My God.
So when we say my array dot reverse, the value of my array now is equal to an array with O, L, E, H. But we don't want to return an array, right? We want it to return back as a string. So this is what split does. This is a string function. This is an array function because now it's an array. Cool. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to put it back together. We want to put it back together as a string.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
way
you have to create a variable to store it as a string?
no, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So we'll say my array, and we're going to use the join function. And what the join function does is it takes those array values and it joins it back together to a string. So split splits the string
You're
into
supposed to go over JavaScript terms because I don't even know that these exist.
functions. Yes,
Functions.
methods or functions.
Methods or functions.
Yeah, and so now when we join it, what my array is equal to, it's no longer an array, but that doesn't matter. It's just a naming convention. So my array is actually equal to
yeah. Oh.
So when we return my array, we run our test.
No.
I think I might have to store this in a variable. Or word equals return word. There we go. Sorry. So this changes the array. All this does is it joins it together. So in this case, we could say word, or
so it's taking them as separates and putting them together again.
Yeah. So these are the tools. So in this case, we have to assign the value. This actually changes the original array, so we don't have to. Here, this is just taking what's in there and joining it if you have an array, a value to store it in.
Yeah.
So in this case, we're overriding the value, but it's all the same. But these are some JavaScript. These are some JavaScript string and JavaScript array functions. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll go over some string ones, and we will introduce you to them. I don't expect you to memorize them, but we will introduce you to them. And then when the time comes and you continue on the algorithms and things like that.
Forgot to get flashcards again.
Which is why I'm going to send you the link right now. You're going to watch tomorrow. Learn JavaScript in one video. It's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to my...
Send it to on Messenger. But I'll also go over any methods or functions. We'll scan over them pretty quickly. Alright, so now you have the link. Good. Okay, so any questions, baby, before we wrap up the stream? Milo, stop breaking things, man. What are you doing?
Get off.
Did he jump into the bucket?
I don't know what he did.
Okay, so you had a rough day today, but these will get easier. You were able to get the Celsius and Fahrenheit fairly quickly. My biggest gripe with you is that you didn't read the documentation, and that I think you're expecting to be able to store these numbers in your head and not go line by line evaluating your code. You're not trying to find your bugs quite yet, which is a hard skill to have. So the best advice I can give you is when your stuff isn't working, to actually check each piece line by line and see if it makes sense. Like when your code says 4 is less than 4, does that make sense? And try to evaluate what you're trying to do. I can't wait till I get my chords all set up and I don't have to worry about this. So